welcome to Rivetea, or welcome back if you've been here before. I am Longhair Linda and I'm going to be recapping season 1 episode 7 of Love and Marriage DC, and this episode is titled Monique in the Middle. So I have actually recapped the other 6 episodes so far of season 1, so go check them out on my channel, subscribe while you're there, all that good stuff, and let's get into episode 7. So it's Monique's first day on the morning radio show, and Monique says that it's her dream job, but getting up so early in the morning will take some getting used to. The show gets underway and Monique says Habari ya asubuhi, which means how's your morning in Swahili. At the house, Chris is, getting the kids up and getting them ready since Monique works in the mornings now. And these kids are just the most adorable things ever. The oldest boy even says, listen, all the haters that his mum has will have to listen to her on the radio every morning now, which I just love. Energy. The first sort of morning show goes really well, and Monique says in her confessional that she's basically so blessed to be getting up and having her work day be done so early in the day, working with amazing people, and just have such a supportive husband in making it possible to, follow her dreams. So at this point I'm thinking, so why are you giving him such a hard time, sis? I hope you praise him for this, right? Because it's nice. It's nice what he's doing for her, and I think that it's great. She gets to live out her dreams. She gets to talk for a living. Perfect for Monique. Ashley is meeting with her editor and publisher, Audrey, about finishing up her book. She's writing a self-help book, which she calls a self-rediscovery book instead, and says that most of the time self-help books are all about holding your hand and basically coddling you, whereas her book is not that book. Ashley has some trepidation about appearing on the cover of the book because she hates how she looks in pictures, relatable content, and hasn't had a professional photo shoot in years. Audrey tells her that she is the brand. She needs to be seen on the cover. Ashley agrees that she should be, because she can't be telling people to go, be getting out of their own way and do the things they want to do if she's not doing that herself, right? So love that moment. She goes on to say that 2017 to 2018 was some of the hardest years of her life. As Quick's career was taking off, she was stuck, at home with the kids and had to drop out of school twice and even cried for 24 hours at a time. Her doctor first diagnosed her with depression shortly after that. And in her confessional, Ashley says whenever she's tried to open up about her depression or anxiety to people, they'd always look at her like, you got nothing to worry about. So this will be, an open book where people can get to read about her healing process, which has not always been easy. I totally commend her for that. Audrey wants to know when all the content will be submitted for editing, and Ashley says she's still working on the end because she doesn't know the end. Even recently, she's been taken to a place where she didn't want to go, and Ashley tells Audrey about the event and Winter labeling her aggressive, as well as her response and how she got angrier than she wanted to. In her confessional, Ashley talks about a chapter in her book called F This Ish, where she talks about no matter how hard you're trying and how positive you're trying to be, there will always be some F-ish that comes your way. Ashley says Winter is a roadblock in her positivity right now. Ashley tells Audrey this isn't about perfection, but about loving and knowing yourself, and she's excited to become Ashley the author. I'm so excited for her. It really just makes me want to go get a copy. Like, I haven't got a copy all this time, and I don't know why, because I remember seeing this episode, but I think I was watching a lot of stuff around the time this came out, so not a lot of this stuck in my head, so I totally forgot about this book, and I think I'm actually going to get it. At Chris and Monique's, Monique is getting home from the radio show and tells Chris that her first day was great and that this is what she was destined to do. She used to pretend to do radio shows as a kid on her boombox, and it's funny how life comes full circle. Monique asks Chris how his day was, and he starts listing off, a bunch of very normal parent things, like it was the hardest work that he's ever done. And Monique's face was cracking me up, but she did say that he is a great dad, she appreciates him, which was really sweet from her, I think. So take back my words from before. She's not giving him a hard time now about it. She is grateful. Monique advises him that, prepare. It's impossible to just wing it with 3 kids. Chris says he's proud of her and happy because he thought that she was a star when they first met. He was already sold on the whole Monique thing. Chris tells us in the confessional that Monique was a rapper when they met, and he's not shocked at where she's at now, and he is her biggest fan. Monique says this is a dream come true because she loves DC culture and now gets to be in the mix of it. At Erana and Jamie is setting up for TikTok videos. They've been going viral, and the extra income from the TikTok videos is just fun money for them. Jamie says he's saving his fun money while Erana wants to go on her trip. You know, she wants to go on a trip with her fun money, and I can relate. Like, yes, save, it's good, the economy, all that kind of stuff, but go on that trip. Go on that trip. Jamie puts on a wig and glasses and does a whole skit with Erana, but can't get through it without laughing. And Erana says in her confessional that people think that she's so boring, that she's stuck up, but they have fun together and they're able to show another side of themselves to their social media followers. After they wrap, Erana says that she thinks Terry the intuitive healer was on point with the whole pitbull bully comments, and Jamie wants to know if Erana thinks that he's a bully. Erana says no, but he is aggressive sometimes with her and with the kids. He asks whether he's getting aggressive or if he's actually disciplining and motivating the kids. Well, Erana says maybe it's just that he gets aggressive with her but is disciplining the kids. Erana brings up that Terry mentioned his childhood and whether his behaviour stems from that. And Jamie said, you know, he had a tough upbringing with his dad and that his dad's toughness is what made him tough growing up. Jamie says he wouldn't mind going back to see Terry for another session. And I really have to say, I love this moment because I think it's commendable that Jamie can see there is an issue and that there are some changes that he could be making. It's not an easy thing to admit to yourself, especially if you're an older person, right? Because you're very set in your ways. But especially when you're raised to be this like tough man and the disciplinary and the, you know, the head of the household. I think that's like a testament to him as a person because of just like how much he wants to be better and how much he loves and cares about his wife and his children. So to see that in a black family is just like, yes, I love it. Call it therapy, call it intuitive healing, whatever you want to call it. Just being able to talk to someone that can make you think about why you react the way you do and give you the tools to help you become the best version of yourself. We love to see it. Ashley is at her photo shoot for the cover of her new book and she's excited and looks absolutely gorgeous, despite her hating taking pictures, by the way. So yeah, she wants her confidence to shine through on the cover and learn about all she has to overcome, you know, when they read the book so that they can too be a boss ass bee. Yes. Monique shows up to the shoot and tells Ashley that she is proud of her and can relate to the transition from being a wife and a mum to doing the things that they actually want to do in life. So the ladies start talking about how they felt selfish initially after like dedicating their 20s to being a mum and a wife, but now it's time to focus on their goals. In her confessional, Monique talks about how she almost lost her identity before. Everything was just Chris Samuel's wife. Ashley sometimes, you know, she says that sometimes she feels like Quick is stuck in 1982 and is fine with her working to get her little pocket money, but in real life, he is supportive of her chasing her own dreams as long as he can do all the things that he wants to do first. Ashley reveals the name of the book is Do That. And Monique says that she will be the first one to buy a copy for Chris. Why you gotta take shots, Monique? Love the premise of this book. Like, yes, do your affirmations, but you actually have to do that ish. One of the things that tends to be quite frustrating for me when you get onto like on Instagram, on different social places, you can find like these super, whether they're talking about affirmations or manifesting, and I love all that stuff, that's great, right? But I think one thing that definitely gets lost in translation a lot of times is the focus on making it happen. But the only way you're going to manifest this is by actually doing the work too. Like, yes, write your lists, say the things you want to say in your head out loud, do your routines, whatever it is that you're doing, but you actually have to also work towards that thing that you're trying to manifest. So yeah, I think it's really nice that Ashley has kind of done that in this book and that she's used her story to push that message across. I want to go buy this book. Monique uses this opportunity to talk about her own soul-searching journey and is talking away while Ashley starts to look a little dead in the eyes. Producers then cut to Ashley in her confessional saying Monique's favourite topic is Monique Samuels, but she should stick to it because when she talks about other people, she causes a mess. Monique tells Ashley that she didn't tell her the whole conversation with Winter at the dinner. Okay, yes, she didn't tell her the whole thing. I knew this before because I was like, why is Ashley only focused on the rumours thing? Why are you not mad about the fun size thing? So yeah, so she's saying, look, I didn't tell you the whole thing with the conversation I had with Winter. And she reveals that Winter gave her and Erana's husbands nicknames. Ashley wants to know the nicknames and says Winter's bald-headed ass needs to stop playing with her. By the way, when I say something like bald-headed ass, I have to say it in an American accent because it just doesn't hit the same in mine. Bald-headed ass. Bald-headed ass. Your bald-headed ass better not play with me. That could still work. It still works. It's a good enough statement that it works. Monique tells Ashley about the DJ Funsize name, and thankfully Ashley laughs. Ashley says it was funny, but not that creative. And she doesn't want to give her that kind of angry response because she just doesn't care enough. Monique also explains that Jamie's nickname of Red Light Special came from the story of, you know, that whole Irana's trying to ring him in the middle of the night. He's not answering. And the next day he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got drunk and fell asleep at a stoplight or a red light or I don't know. Yeah. Monique says that she was using it to make the point that she doesn't want their husbands, i.e. Winter doesn't want their husbands. And Ashley says, yeah, duh. Quick isn't a scammer. Of course that he's not her type. Yikes. Monique is convinced that Winter is not a messy person and they're all getting a version of her that Monique has never seen. She tells Ashley she's wondering if her reactions are coming from all that she's going through at the moment, and Ashley says, well, yeah, she's definitely hurting, but she's taking it out on the wrong people. She tells Monique that that's her friend and she's good on hanging out with her, even in group settings. I don't blame her because I don't know what is going on with Winter. I don't get it. Like, Quick and Chris are meeting up at a massage parlour for foot massages, and Quick is trying to take everyone's advice and do relaxing things because health is wealth. Chris tells us that being the at-home parent has made him realise just how hard it is as a job and how he needs an outlet to deal with people that aren't little people all the time. The men are catching up and Chris says it's a big change for him to be switching roles with Monique, and Quick admits that as husbands, they don't realise how much their wives get done and have to handle until it's their turn to try and handle it. Their wives make it look easy, but it's really not, and they're just glad to be able to talk about it amongst each other. As they discuss the session with Terry, the intuitive healer, Chris wants to know if Quick has been able to let his guard down a little. Quick says, look, the way he grew up, opening up could get you killed. You know, he is working on being more vulnerable with Ashley, and Quick says he rarely cries, but hearing Quick's story in the session almost brought him to tears. Quick says he doesn't cry because of what his father told him when he was younger. He didn't even cry at his own mother's funeral. Quick says this is carried on even in his marriage. You know, he's emotional, but he doesn't cry. Chris suggests counselling to deal with how Quick grew up and talks about how he grew up with a Vietnam vet father. His household was abusive and the kids couldn't express themselves and had to just build a wall and move on. Chris has gone to counselling to try and undo a lot of this so that he can be better in his household now. Chris says in his confessional that a lot of times in black households, counselling isn't seen as an option because it's embarrassing or expensive or just seen as a waste of time. Chris thinks Quick should get counselling to release the childhood, his whole childhood in general, to be fair, and just to get to a place of forgiveness and peace. Quick tells Chris that he doesn't like the idea of speaking to a stranger, but he loves his massage. I actually hope he does seek counselling out. I find it interesting that he was able to talk to Terry, but still kind of feels it would be weird to talk to a stranger. So maybe he just needs more sessions with somebody like Terry or with Terry herself. But either way, just kind of getting that help, getting that trauma out, and then getting the tools to kind of help you navigate that, I think is useful wherever you get it from. Counselling, intuitive healer, whatever works for you, go ahead and do that. It all counts. But ideally, licensed therapist. I'm just going to put that out there, but you know. Erana is at a med spa to get a skinny BBL consultation, and Ashley shows up for moral support to return the favour for Erana showing up for Ashley's underarm Botox session. Erana explains that a skinny BBL is a little different to regular BBLs because it's ideal for smaller people like her, and she wants to add a little hip and a little buttocks. Ashley says Erana has 0% body fat and is wondering where they'll get the fat they need for the BBL. And Ashley says the only thing that probably weighs a lot on Erana is her wig. Sure enough, when they head in the consultation and Erana takes off her gown, she is so small. There was no body fat anywhere.
We gotta see that ass, girl. Lord, you want an ass, you gotta get ready for it.
And let's see what
you got a little something.
Of course, you know, surgeon being a surgeon, the surgeon starts drawing all over her, talking about, well, there is some fat, if you say so. The surgeon says, you know, he can give her some roundness in the hips, but the result won't be as dramatic when it heals because she's so small. And Ashley asks whether she can get her underarm coochie done. The surgeon says they call it axillary fat, which Ashley doesn't like, but, you know, they can go with her term. Once the surgical team leaves, Ashley and Erana are sitting there kind of having a conversation, and Ashley says what she needs to gain a few pounds first. She's telling Erana, you need to put some weight on first. Erana talks about wanting to be perfect with the hips and the legs, remembering the intuitive healing session, and says that she looks at people on social media all the time and thinks they're beautiful. Ashley says, you're beautiful. It's so interesting to me that that happens to so many people. Like, a lot of the time you just assume that people they get to a certain level of success or maybe a certain level of fame or whatever, and that they're less affected by the images on social media. But we're all just as affected as each other at this point. Like, everybody's looking at this stuff. Everybody's like, I want to be perfect. I want to be perfect. I want to be perfect all the time. And it's just so interesting that we always hold them to a high regard. People that are on TV, people that are super successful, whatever. We always hold them to a high regard, like they don't have the same emotions that we do when it comes to all this stuff. I always find that really interesting. In her confessional, Ashley says nobody's perfect. These images on social media have been edited for perfection. She then goes on to fill Erana in on the drinks with Monique and Winter and how she is not any clearer on what Winter actually said because she was backtracking a lot. Erana says they need to start recording her and wonders if there's actually something wrong with Winter mentally. Erana, in her confessional, says that this is a genuine concern because Winter has had 2 marriages that could have really messed her head up, and the haircut says it all. I agree though. Ashley tells Erana that the nicknames that Winter had for Quick and Jamie, and Erana doesn't find Jamie's red light special nickname as funny as Ashley found DJ Fun Size, because obviously she'd been vulnerable with Winter when she was telling her this story, and I agree, that one felt so much more mean-spirited than the DJ Fun Size thing. They were both wrong, don't get me wrong, but like, that one felt extra mean because that was shared with just the 2 of them, and it was part of a wider conversation where Erana was being very, very vulnerable. So yeah, I'm not surprised she doesn't find that funny. So in the final scene of episode 7, Erana meets with Winter to talk about the nickname thing and pretty much gets straight to it with very little niceties when they sit down. Winter tries to explain away her being shady by saying, you know, she's been friends with Monique for 15 years, but Erana tells us in the confessional she doesn't care about all that. She doesn't care about any of these things. Don't share personal information about her husband. Absolutely fair. Winter goes on to say that she was just talking and it wasn't necessarily in order, so Monique made it seem like the original brunch meeting was way more hostile and combative than it was. Erana says Winter is trying to be funny and it's not cute in her confessional. And back at the meeting with Winter, she told her she doesn't want people mentioning her husband at all. After a little back and forth, Erana asked Winter straight up, do you think you're mentally effed up from your relationships? And that is the end of episode 7. Yet again, 9.5 out of 10 for me. 9.5 out of 10 for me. It actually would have been a 10 if there was a group scene in this episode where everyone can say what they've actually been saying in the smaller groups. That is the only reason I knocked off half a point. Monique started her new job and we actually get scenes of her being kind to Chris, maybe for the first time in the show. Maybe at episode 7. Ashley was like, you know, wrapping up her book and facing her dislike of photo shoots by having one for the book cover. That was nice. Jamie committing to trying to work on his temper by seeing Terry again. Quick and Chris meeting up to relax and talk about how they're discovering how much their wives really have had to deal with for all these years. and Erana finding out about Winter's little nicknames and going straight to the source about it. She wasted no time, went straight to confront Winter. I'm here for it. 9.5 out of 10 for me. What do you rate this episode? I want to know what you think. I want your comments. I want your feedback. I want your opinions. Tell me everything, and like and share this video if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. And I will be back with a recap of episode 8 tomorrow, so don't miss it. I'll see you there. Bye.